Welcome to the Mental Fitness Podcast in partnership with Eliza Chat, where we explore real tools and stories for building mental strength in the modern world. Today, we welcome Joshua Aruya to the Mental Fitness Podcast. Josh is the starting middle blocker for the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos men's volleyball team and a three-time member of the U19 and U21 USA men's volleyball teams. Josh is an amazing athlete on the court and an amazing person off the court. Today, we'll jump into Josh's story and learn that along with the incredible physical fitness and training regimen required to compete at the highest levels of volleyball, there's a mental game as well. What happens when injuries hit or the season isn't going as planned? What do top athletes do mentally to be successful?
Yeah, Josh, thanks for coming on. I guess a question to kick it off. What first drew you to volleyball? How'd you get started there?
Yeah, so I played a bunch of different sports in middle school because my family didn't really have we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I didn't really have a lot of access to football and basketball, the two main sports that you'd think someone with my build would play. But my sister actually started playing club volleyball. She got a scholarship after playing her freshman year at our high school that we just moved to. And I was like, wow, this looks really cool, but this is a women's sport. I could never play this. And then this one kid at my school happened to be also a really good men's volleyball player, and he was already into club and all that. I don't know how much you guys know, but club volleyball is really, really big. There's hundreds of teams and thousands of players. There's tournaments every weekend, every 2 weeks. And there's a lot of money that goes into it. You can get recruited D1 for it. There's a lot more than you would think in men's volleyball, I guess, or a lot more resources and a lot more people that care about it. And so, like I said, I thought it was a women's sport, but this kid at my school is actually really good. His name's Aiden Powell. And he played at the highest levels really early on since he was 10 years old. And I remember meeting him. I'd play at PE time with him, and we just would pepper and stuff. And then he told me, he's you should come try out for our team. And I was like, what? You're actually you're on a serious team. And he was like, yeah, this is a real thing. I go to tournaments for it every other weekend. And then I kind of went down the rabbit hole and I started looking into researching. I would watch YouTube videos and I found out there was this really big community in men's volleyball that I could be a part of. And I was I want to do it. So
This is eighth grade?
I was in eighth grade. Yeah, sorry. But my sister was a freshman. She's a year older.
At the time, you're 6'4".
Yeah, at the time. No, in eighth grade, I was actually 5'11". But I had a huge growth spurt from my eighth grade to freshman year. And then I had a huge growth spurt from my freshman to sophomore year. I grew from 5'11" to 6'2" in 4 months, I think, something crazy. But
wow.
Yeah, at the middle school I was at, I was really only I played flag football for a little bit. I played basketball for a little bit and I wasn't good. And I was just looking for something to be good at and something fun. Cause I knew I loved competing. And I don't know, volleyball it just hit for me. And then, here I am now, I'm playing D1 at UCSB. So ended up working out.
Just to finish that growth spurt story, you're 6'9" today.
Yes, I'm 6'9" today. Yeah, sorry. So
That's crazy.
I've grown 3 or 4 inches every year, but kind of slowing down. I'm trying to be 7 foot because especially in this sport, it really helps. You don't really have to do much. So
that's interesting. That's a cool story. So you saw different levels of volleyball very quickly. It became much more competitive. How did the mental game evolve as you got to those different ranks? Was it different mentally?
Yeah, for sure. So I like I said, I didn't really explain my background. I don't know if you want me to, but I kind of grew up a little differently than some of the other kids that would play.
Yeah, please do. Please do explain.
Play the sport. So when I was 9 years old, I got placed in the foster system. And obviously I ended up finding Dave, who has been so wonderful in my life, my dad now and everything. But I got taken away from my parents for physical abuse. And then I like got placed in a foster family like 6 months later, and I stayed with that family for about 5-6 years. And then she was this amazing lady. We called her Granny, this older lady. And she was just awesome. She taught us all of our manners, like taught us how to dress. You know, my family was Nigerian and my parents were first generation. So they kind of raised us a little differently than like a standard child born in America. Like I kind of like didn't really know how to say please and thank you. I didn't know how to dress. I didn't know how to do all those things. And I got to Granny and she just taught us all those things and it was wonderful. But again, she was very old. And so like we were planning to stay with her for kind of long term, but it was kind of like out of her interest because like all of her placements had been like 1 to 4 years, right? Anyways, we ended up getting placed with a foster adopt family after that, just because like not because there's anything bad with our relationship with her. It was just she couldn't really take care of us, and because she was getting older. Anyways, we got placed with a foster adopt family, and they ended up like kind of like neglecting us and verbally abusing us. So we had to move yet again to another family. And that was when I got placed with the Barneys. And that was really amazing, obviously, for me. I started playing volleyball like when I moved in with the second family. At that time, like the second family I was living with, they didn't really like take me super seriously with volleyball. And they didn't really like, I don't know, they just didn't know how good I would be. And also they themselves, they didn't really play any sports. And so you know how it is, like they were just like, you know, and it's also men's volleyball. So it's like, they didn't really want to give me the time and effort. And like club volleyball is very expensive, which like we didn't know about either. I was able to work out some like scholarships and some things that made it able for me to be able to play and still be able to go to all the travel tournaments and everything. And it all ended up working out. The reason I brought that up, my upbringing, is because like I like was always super competitive and like I always had to work really hard like growing up. And I don't know, like any opportunity that I had to go and like I didn't slack in anything I did. So like I remember in like 8th grade, like I was on one of the worst 14s teams ever. And I saw these like gold medal teams, these open teams, these kids that have been playing for like 6 years. And I was like, I could be playing with them. Like I should be playing with them. Like there's no reason for me to be down here losing in like the like flight 4. Like no. And I kind of carried that with me all throughout. Anyways, it was really easy for me, like from 8th grade to like my sophomore year of high school. I was just very confident. And like I said, I felt like nobody could stop me and I deserved to be at the highest, most elite levels of volleyball that there was. And then like I ended up moving over to like Balboa Bay, which was like this, like actually like one of those teams that I kept like wanting to be on growing up.
One of the best men's volleyball clubs in the United States.
Yeah, the best volleyball club in the United States for sure.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah, I ended up moving there my junior year after playing just such terrible volleyball from 8th grade to my sophomore year. I'd always been like the best player, and I'd always had a really good work ethic. And like I told you, like I never could settle. I never settled for anything. And so I always wanted to get better. Anyways, I finally made it to that team. And when I got there, like I was kind of a little nervous because like obviously some of those guys have been playing longer than me. Those guys were super confident, had been in the USA gym and stuff, which is like a big thing for like men's volleyball. But I still thrived. Like I still had that mentality of like, you know, like I'm a dog, like none of these people can really like touch me. And like I said, I really like carry like all the things that I've been through, like when I play, and like, I don't know, I just like kind of have always been very confident. Anyways, it was very easy for me from like 8th grade to my senior year. It's just like in my junior year, I ended up getting an invite to the USA U19 team. And that all happened really fast because I like
the top 12 players in the country for
the top 16. Yeah.
Top 16 for the age group.
Yeah. And so I had just like came from like the worst, like I was on like a 17 fours team. For those of you who don't know, club is like, there's a 1s, 2s, 3s. Sometimes there's a 4s, for every age group. And that just like, is like what level you're at. Yeah. I just like gone from like a 17 3s team. I'm also one thing about me is I'm a year younger than my grade. So I've played up almost like 2 years my whole life. I've always been like younger. And that's another thing that I feel like has helped me mentally because like, I don't know, for some reason, I've just been like these older guys, I don't know why they're on a pedestal. Like, let me go at you. And that's like always been like my philosophy for some reason. So I think it's helped me.
Just to finish that junior year, just to add to that, Balboa team that Josh was the middle blocker starter for won the national championship
That year. Yeah.
in Orlando, Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is my first year with the team. So that was really cool. And yeah, I ended up getting an invite to the U19 team. And the way they do it, it's like a 2-year cycle. The first year is like a regional qualifier. So that's like all the like North American, South American, Central American teams that go. And then after that, the next year it goes to World Championships. And so like if you play well in your regional qualifier, then and if you get like top 3 in there, then you get an automatic bid to the World Championships the following year. And I got invited to the first qualifier and I ended up like not making the team, which really, really sucked. That was the first time, like I was telling you how I've been like super confident. Like, I mean, I won that gold medal that year, whatever. Actually, no, the gold medal came after I got cut. So I'll talk about that. But yeah, it was like the first year that I kind of like, the first time in my life, I would say that I had worked really hard towards something and kind of gotten shut down. And I remember like, obviously I thought I was the best and like, I thought I couldn't make a mistake. So I was like, there's no way I should have been cut. Like, and I remember just like being so frustrated and like, I was so immature at the time. So obviously I was like crying a little bit because it's like the first time you get cut. And like, I thought USA U19 was like the best thing ever. And so I didn't really know what to do. I was just angry and I wanted another shot like right then and there to be able to go in and like kill every ball and show them and block every ball and show them like I deserve to be there. But that's not how it works. And that's what I figured out. So what they do with USA is like they'll cut 5 guys like 3 days in advance and they'll have you stay. The guys that get cut, they'll have you stay to just like help and like shag balls and like do the water. And I just like was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, and if I play, yeah, I was like, and if I play, I'm going to show you guys that I deserve to be here and I'm going to be like aggressive about it and like annoying and kind of rude, you know, I don't know. That's how it was. And like, I remember I went in there and I did that the first day. I was very good. But then like after, like, I realized like there's no way I was going to get back on that team. I had been cut. And so like, I just ended up like helping out, being a good teammate. And then I went back to my club like a week later. And I remember I was so embarrassed because like, I don't know, like I said, I was just like, I think the highest of myself. And I was just like, you know, like, what are these people going to think? Like, what are my parents going to think? All this stuff. I just felt so weird. And I was only like 16, 15. Anyways, I ended up going back and I talked to my coach. And I just told him everything about how I felt and like that I wanted to work so hard to be able to come back and prove that I'm the best middle in the country. Like, and I know I can do that. And he was just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I love it. Like he was like, you know, like it sucks right now. And I know like you've never felt this feeling before, but he was like, I'm telling you right now, like just channel that anger into like what I'm going to put you through the next few weeks. And like, I promise you're going to be ready for JOs, which is nationals. And you're going to show these coaches like that they should have taken you. And like, if not this year, then next year for sure. So then like we were practicing getting reps and it was really good. And like, I got like a lot better really quickly in like the last like 2 to 3 weeks, that I was playing with him. And then we ended up going JOs. And I think that was like the best turn. I still think that's the best I've ever played in men's volleyball. Like we go into JOs because it was probably a month. Yeah. JOs was a month after I got cut. And, we go in there and we ended up winning a gold medal. I think we lost 1 match. And like, every single time I got on the court, and like, because there's always those coaches watching. There's those coaches that pick you for those teams that cut you that are there. And I literally, all the college recruiters are there. Yeah, all of those. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to show. Like I had no fear, like I had no fear of anyone in volleyball at the time because like I said, like that's how I've been growing up all these years. And I knew how good I was and how hard I worked. And I think that's the biggest thing that I like learned was like the confidence doesn't really come from other people. it comes from your own work and yourself. And that was a huge like break point for me. Cause after that, like ever since then, like I've been cut like one time since then. And I can talk about that as well later. But ever since then, I've always had that like dog mentality. It takes you getting cut one time. I mean, yeah, you never want to feel that feeling again. So that's how I feel.
I love the competitive spirit. I felt it when we even played card games around the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got that dog in him.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that one of the big moments, like your first cut, the kind of things didn't go your way and that ended up shaping you the most? Or was there another scenario? Like,
I would say that was like one of the main ones for sure. But there was one, there's been a lot actually. So I feel like I've grown from every single opportunity. So that's hard to say.
Let's talk about that. When you say you grow from these opportunities, and you're even using the word opportunity. Yeah. You're even using the word opportunity, though, naturally there, right? Like, these setbacks, you see them as opportunities, right? So,
for sure, yeah. Well, I'm very like spiritual as well and religious, and I read my Bible every day and I pray every day, and I like at that time like I was big on prayer, and so I'd pray a lot, and I just like, I don't know, just one day it kind of came to me. I was reading my scriptures and I realized like I shouldn't be like this. I don't know. I shouldn't feel bad for myself because like there's so many other things going on in the world that are like way worse, you know, like this is an opportunity. This is a blessing to be able to go and play volleyball and like, you know, see my friends every day and have a smile on my face, you know, like it's like, it sucks, but there are way bigger things. And like, that's like kind of a perspective that I have always had playing volleyball, but I kind of like got back after getting cut because like I've been through some pretty hard things in my life already. And it just kind of adds to that. It's just like, you know, like volleyball isn't everything. It isn't the biggest. It isn't like the be all end all. And there's so many other things that in the world that could be happening to me right now, but I get to go and play a sport that I love. And that was like the perspective that I kind of had. And it's just helped me a lot because like I've been through a lot. And whenever I get in hard times with volleyball, like getting cut or like being like the last middle on the depth chart, whatever, like I just know like this can't break me because I mean I've already been through my hardest points in my life. So
one thing I'm impressed with is how the lessons you've learned on the court, how you've applied them off the court, and how the lessons you've learned off the court, how you've applied them on the court. And now you're a D1 athlete at a very good university taking hard college classes, and many student athletes, they juggle sport, academics, and social life. What habits help you manage that load and balance between, I mean, the team has a demanding practice schedule and workout regimen, and then you also take demanding classes. I mean, Josh is planning to, you know, play professional volleyball and then go to law school. So he's doing well in all his classes in school. How do you manage all that? What are the habits that you have to manage that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty easy for me just because I've always been like a active kind of person. I mean, I've always played a sport, I feel like. So like I've always like in high school, it was like school from 8 to 3 p.m. And then it was like practice Tuesdays and Thursdays from like 6 to 8, you know, and I was really good at following a schedule. And then once I got here, I kind of tried to like stick with that. And it's definitely hard. Like there are some days that I'd definitely be off my schedule. I'd like either sleep in a little too late or I'd like miss a time that I should have been studying, like whatever. But I think like it kind of is easy because like when you live with like other volleyball teammates, like if I'm late to practice, then like everyone's going to get punished for it. And same thing with like classes. Like if I don't go to class and I don't get good grades, like we will all get punished for it. And so I don't know, it's always been like pretty easy for me because I've had teammates who like keep me on my schedule. I keep them on their schedule. And then
you're part of a community
I'm part of a community that holds each other accountable. And then I would also say like I'm here on a scholarship, so I know I can't like get bad grades, and I can't just like go mess around and miss practice and miss class. I can't do that. So yeah.
So back to volleyball. Some of those setbacks, you're cut from a team you deserve to be on, and that really drove your motivation to work harder and all of that. Now you're in college. You're competing at the highest level. Tell us how your injuries have taken you out of the game and the impact that had on your mental health.
Yeah, my freshman year, basically we went out to Hawaii to play 2 matches, and the first like Hawaii, like going out, Hawaii is like one of the best teams in the country, and they have one of the biggest fan bases. So it's like I'm always like every player wants to play at Hawaii and like go off there, because it's kind of like the dream. Like you grew up like watching those games, and I don't know, it's just like really, it's like it's the closest thing that we have, I guess, in NCAA volleyball to like an NBA team or like a Bama or like Georgia team. Like it's like they just love their volleyball out there. Anyways, I go out there and I played 2 sets. Volleyball is best of 5, so we played the first 2 sets. We lost. I was having a great match, and we go into the locker room for halftime, come back in, and they're like, yeah, we're going to start running you more. We're going to start sending you more or whatever. Like, we need to win this game. And come back in. And the first match, I break my ankle. Or sorry, the first point of the first set, I ended up breaking my ankle. Yeah. And it was like super frustrating. I thought I was fine, because I was like, I have rolled my ankles plenty of times before, and I usually like play it off or like walk it off, whatever. Like, it's fine. I remember like going off to the side, and like, they're like, oh, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Like, whatever. Anyways, I ended up going home that night, and like my ankle's throbbing. I'm icing it. It's like swelling up, whatever. And like usually by the way, at the time we didn't know it was broken. So I found that out like a week later. So at the time, like they're telling me it's just a sprain. It's just a sprain. And I'm like, okay, well, it hurts way worse than I've ever rolled it before. And they're like, well, you just got to sleep and ice it off, and tomorrow you'll be fine. Like my trainer didn't do a tuning fork. He didn't really do like any of the things that you actually need to do to check if there's a bone break or anything like that. So I ended up sleeping it off. And then the next morning I go to the trainer, and he's like, look, like we kind of need you to play. Like your coach wants you to play. And I was like, well, I don't think I'm gonna be able to play. I can't even jump off 1 foot. So I don't know, like, what you want me to do? He's like, no, like, you just got to be tough, man. You're a man. Just be tough. Like, you be tough. I was like, okay. So like they ended up giving me like, yeah, they ended up giving me like these like, well, it wasn't actually the trainer. It was one of my teammates who ended up giving me these like 800 milligram, like painkiller, like steroid things. And they were like prescribed to him. But I like was talking to my trainer, and he's like, yeah, like you should definitely take those. You should take those. Right. So I took those. I'm like icing, whatever. I go into the Hawaii game, and I remember I felt like I was seeing stars. I felt like I was on cloud nine. Like I couldn't, like I felt good, and like there was no pain. I was bouncing, like I was jumping really. Actually, no, I wasn't. Like I felt like I was jumping really high and stuff, but I was also like compensating with 1 foot and stuff, just without me knowing. And then I remember like one of the Hawaii players came up to me, and he was like, man, are you okay? Like, you're playing tonight? And I was like, yeah, I'm playing. He's like, I saw your foot on film, and it was fully it snapped. He was like, your foot, like the left side of your foot touched the ground. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I did not know it was that bad, not feel that bad. And then they were like, yeah, I'm really surprised you're playing, but like, okay, like good luck. And I ended up playing, and Hawaii, like, I mean, it happens in volleyball. You're going to use anything to your advantage that you can. So they were setting walls tight on purpose to the net when I would go up and block, just to like mess with my head and just to like mess with my like game, whatever. Like I just like wasn't playing well. I think I was like hitting balls out. I think like, I don't know. I just wasn't there mentally. And I remember my coach pulled me after the 3rd set, and I was like super mad, because I was just like, look, I have a sprained ankle. I like wasn't going to play or take these painkillers if you wouldn't have played me. But he ended up still like playing me, and then he took me out. And I remember I was so frustrated. And we end up losing that game in 5 sets. We actually ended up doing better when I went out of the game, but that makes sense. I like was not there. And we go back and then on the Monday, like we had a lift and my coach was like, we're going to do single leg jumps today, single leg jump roping, single leg squat, all this stuff. And I was like, I don't think I can do single leg. Like I can't even get an inch off the ground with my left leg. Like, and I showed them and they're like, okay, like go to Leroy. I go to Leroy, our trainer. I go to the trainer and, and he like has me, like, he like looks at it and all he does is like feel around and he's like, oh, you're good. Like I'll put some stem and ice on it and like, you'll be fine tomorrow. So
you don't know it's broken yet.
I still don't know it's broken. Yeah. Finally, like I can shorten the story. Finally, I go in the next day to practice and we had Monday off practice, but we still had lift and our coach was fuming. He was like, you middles can't be hitting negative. Like this is ridiculous. Like, that's why we lost that game. Like, we're going to work you today. And I'm over here like, and like you guys, like Luke, you guys don't really know exactly like how bad my coach can be when he's in a bad mood, but he's really tough. Like he's really harsh. It's like you don't see anywhere else in men's volleyball. And it's like good because I mean we're conditioned and stuff, but it's also like, I don't know. There's a time and a place. Anyways, you never know with him. And he was like, yeah, we're going to work you today. And he like has me doing all these like block moves, all these like transition moves and stuff, which are super tiring. And I remember I was like struggling to get off the ground. I was struggling to run in warm-ups. I was struggling. Like I was like limping and they were just like, you got to get up. You got to get up. And I told them, I was like, look, like I can't, like I'm hurt. Like I'm hurting. This hurts. And they're like, no, you're fine. Obviously my trainer, I told them I was fine. So then I go for one block move in the next drill and I end up landing on someone again. I think I jumped maybe like 3 inches off the ground and I felt a pop in my leg and my ankle. And then I was like, oh my gosh. So then that's why I knew like I'd either torn it or I just had made it worse. And so I go in there and he's like, all right, he does the same thing. I'm going to ice it. And he's feeling around. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't really know. I don't think you guys know what you're doing. So I called my parents and they were just like, yeah, I think you should go to an urgent care. Like, I think you just should get a second opinion. I go to an urgent care. Immediately they give me the x-ray and it comes back and they're like, oh, it's broken. And that was like super tough because I was just like, all right, like this could have all been avoided. It could have. And the thing about it is like, I would have been fine because even like, it sucked not being able to play in our conference tournament. Like that was like what we've been working towards the whole year. And so that was already brutal, like being out. This is the end of the season. Yeah. Because this all happened like right before this injury happened 2 weeks before our conference tournament. The main reason I was so upset was because like we had world championships in 4 months. That's what I was telling you about earlier. Basically like the injury where it was in my ankle, in my foot was like it was really hard for it to receive blood flow. So they were like, you have to go non-weight bearing. So I had to be in a boot and a scooter. And that was also super annoying because I was just like, I can't be getting stronger. I'm going to be losing muscle for volleyball. I'm going to be for world championships. I'm going to be losing my reps, my touch. And I just immediately thought like I was losing all that. And that was like the year after I'd been cut.
There's a lot of different things going on here. It's the very end of the season when this injury hits. You have a coaching step. There were just, you weren't happy about the way things were managed from the coaching standpoint. So there's that dynamic going. You missed the conference tournament. It's your freshman year, so it's your first year. The conference tournament in Hawaii, back in Hawaii. That's in April. So you're going to miss that. You have nationals coming up. You want to prove to everyone this time, you're good on the national team. So you have all these things that are building up. And then with the news from the doctor, your ankle's broken, you're wondering all this. I mean, the conference tournament's out. Nationals is at risk. How did that affect you mentally and emotionally at that time?
That like whole thing was very hard for me because that was like my first serious injury, like first break. I had rolled my ankle plenty of times, but like that was like even, and that wasn't even that bad. like when I look back on it. But like just for me at the time mentally, like I like that was my first break. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to respond to it. I don't know how my body's going to respond to it. And I don't know, like if I'm going to be like there's a lot of people that like they get hurt, like, and it's like the smallest thing. It can be like a sprained ankle, whatever. They come back and they never have their vertical again. And they never have their like, they never have their spring. They never have anything. So it's like, it can be like, I've just seen those stories and I was like, I didn't want that to be me. But the thing is also like, I know I was in a boot and I had a scooter. And so it was pretty tough because like I had to like carry my dorm had no elevator and my roommate was getting surgery. He was out for the season as well with his hip. So he couldn't really help me. So at the time, like I was hauling my scooter up 3 flights of stairs by myself while hopping on the other foot. And I would do that every single day. And then getting to class, like I wouldn't bike, like I would scoot to and from the class, to and from my dorm to class. And that was just like really brutal because class is like 20 to 30 minutes away. So it was just like kind of like, it was like pretty hard. And that like lasted 6 weeks. And in that time, I just felt like nothing. And I just felt like no one really cared about me. No one really wanted anything to do with me because I couldn't really like benefit them. And so like at the time, it was really tough.
How did you get past that?
My faith grew a ton at that time because like, obviously like, I felt like I couldn't even talk to my parents about this. I felt like I couldn't even talk to like my siblings about it and that's just how it is sometimes. It's because like you don't want to show how down you are, how down bad you are, and that you really like need other people to help you. And so I like wanted to be very independent and I didn't really like talk to anyone. So like what I did was I just like started to like pray because there were times where I'd like just be like in my dorm and there was like a lot of other stuff going on like besides just the volleyball, like with family at home and stuff. So like I would just get on my knees and just start praying. And when I would cry and like be like in tears in those really hard times, just because that was like the only thing I knew to do. And that was like immediate relief. And I did that every single day. And I like also like listened to tons of different mental fitness podcasts like this at the time to try to just figure out like how to come back from this, how to like put myself in a position to where I come back. And I'm like, I still have the same confidence I did. Because I think like confidence is everything in sports. And I feel like the confidence I had before the injury, like was like, no, they're like literally no one could stop me and I could turn it on at any moment, anytime. And anyways, I was just like worried that I would never get that mentality back. So I prayed, I listened to a lot of different like mental fitness podcasts. I read the book Atomic Habits, The Inner Game of Tennis, just some great books. And I was just like, like I can get myself out of this. Like, I don't have to feel like this. I don't have to react like this. And like, there's so many ways I can go about it. So those were the two like main things. I also had a girlfriend at the time who was also an athlete on the soccer team. And she helped me a ton because she went through injury like earlier in the year. And like, yeah, that was like that like was also just a huge blessing because like her like being able to spend time with me in the dorm and stuff, like when like my teammates were at practice or different things, like that was definitely huge for me.
All right, this show is all about mental fitness. And here's something most of us don't admit. Everyone has those moments when you feel overwhelmed, stuck, or unsure and what's actually going on in your head. That's why we built New. New is a mental fitness platform designed to help you clear your thoughts, reflect, notice patterns, develop habits, and get support that fits who you are. It remembers your goals, your wins, the things you're working on, and helps you stay on track. Not therapy, not toxic positivity, just real support when you need it. If you want to be part of the early access group, head to talkwithnew.com. That's talkwithnue.com. Sign up now and get 3 months free.
I have a few questions about this story before we move on. So you said something interesting. You said, "Hey, I didn't even want like my siblings, talk to my parents, that let them know I was down bad." You know, that's a. We've had a few athletes. We had an ex NFL player on this podcast, and we had some Olympians and stuff. And that's something that was a common theme, like in these high performance sports, where you're latching on to this high performance mindset and this confidence, but that ability to share emotions and like label your emotions and be like, you know what, it's okay that I'm feeling this way. Do you feel like you've changed that way as far as like now you can tell people when, in your own words, you're down bad or you're feeling that, and you can connect with others and help let them support you? Do you feel like you've changed that way at all?
Yeah, I would say for sure. Just because like I've just like realized that like it's like, I mean, like my teammates go through the same things, and like it's just a lot better to let it all out than hold it all in. And I think like as I'm also more mature now, and as I've like gone through the whole experience, I don't know, I just have realized like, I don't know, people want to talk, people want to listen, people want to help you out. I don't really know why I had that mindset, and I don't know why it's such a common thing. Because like I could ask some of my teammates and they would say the same thing. I think there are pros and cons to having that mindset, but I would just say like now for sure, like I'm way better at opening up to my teammates about that type of stuff, or talking to my parents or siblings, just because I've realized how much it can help me. So
yeah, that's huge. No, that's awesome. My other question, and this was a big theme with the other high performing athletes we've had, is identity. Like, your whole identity really is wrapped up in you being this high performance athlete, right? Like it's your whole life. Who is Josh if volleyball ended tomorrow?
I mean, I'm like I just like laugh, like even trying to think of that. Because like you said, it is everything, but also like I don't know exactly what I would be doing, because I'm just such an active person. I'd be playing another sport probably, or I'm such a competitive person. But like just like without the volleyball, I think I would like just like want like I am one of those kids that I just like making other people like laugh and like smile. I don't know. I just like brighten up the mood. Like that's always like kind of just been how I am, and because I kind of do that for myself early on, and so like. Yeah, I love making people laugh, and I love just being like, just helping others out. And so like we at home, we do a lot of service and stuff, but I think that'd be like my biggest thing would just be like, I just would do a lot of acts of service, and I would definitely try to be like some sort of like leader or something. Some like, I don't know what I would do, but I would definitely do something where I could help other kids out or help other people out that just need like some happiness in their life. That's just how I am as a person. But
I would say, having observed this journey from the sidelines, but from a close distance, that your understanding and your vision of your identity has grown, where that injury when you were 18 was harder on you. If you had a similar injury today, it would still be tough. It would suck.
yeah, but not nearly as much. Yeah.
Feels like, because I've heard you said earlier in this podcast, and I've heard you say it outside this podcast, there's more to life than just volleyball. But you learned that because when you were 17 and 18, I don't think I would have ever heard you say that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's very true. Yeah, I definitely learned that from my experiences. And I've learned from every single time. I also got cut this past summer, and I learned more. That was also kind of, I didn't learn then, but I kind of like, that was kind of a reminder that like, yeah, volleyball isn't everything, because I ended up having like one of the best summers anyways. Even though I didn't end up getting to go to China for this is a fast forward to U21 World Championships. I still went to the Pan Am Cup like the week before with like kind of like with another team. And I still went to Canada and still traveled with the U21 team. But like I said, I think that I want the highest for myself, and I always think I should deserve to play or I should be playing at the highest levels. So after that, getting cut from the world team, which I had thought I had done everything again in my power to make the team, I did a lot. I put a lot of money into it. Also, like a couple months before, getting like privates and not private lessons, but private like strength coach, strength coach used to work with and stuff. And I remember after that, I literally was just like, what do I do? This was like even worse almost than the first time I got cut, because I was a lot more mature, but it was more of like, I was just like, what do I even, is there anything for me to even keep going like with this like volleyball stuff? Because like we have our call, like the NCAA D1 season. Yes, that's fun. But like, I only like have 2 more years of that. And like the whole reason I've been doing the USA stuff was like to be in that system, to be in that pipeline. And so I'm just telling you, like being honest, like what I was thinking like at the time. And so, yeah, I was just thinking like, where do I go with this? Like, I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I'm never going to be in the USA system again. And like, I'm kind of like volleyball, like I'm kind of like done with being good at that, being one of the best at that. And I remember like, I went home and like talked to my parents about it. And I just like prayed about it and read scriptures. And I just realized that like, in one of my studies, I realized that like I was definitely like prioritizing volleyball over a lot more things in life that I should have at the time. And like whether that was family or like for example, my grandma is like close, like she's on her way out and she's kind of struggling right now and she's lonely. And like I got to spend time with her. It's like when I got cut, instead of like being in China, which like I think was a blessing. I think like I honestly would rather be doing that than playing at the World Championships, just because like I said, that's who I am. I love helping other people out and making their lives better, making their days better. But I did that study and I just realized like I just can't be idolizing volleyball. That can't be my number one priority. Like I have school, I have family, I have people around me that care about me, and that I also care about, that I need to do a better job of reaching out to, see if they need anything and going and helping out. And like during like that USA, I kind of gone carried away with like, that mentality that I was so close to making that team. And like, I had missed calls, important calls from people that like needed help, that wanted to talk and stuff. And it just kind of put into perspective that like once I got to UCSB, because I got there the week after, that like, look, there's so many other opportunities that I have to go and excel at, and that I have like a purpose for. And it's not just this like one little like tournament that I've been working for. It was really annoying, because I felt like I put in a lot of money into it, just like going to the strength coaches and stuff, and like to just not make the team. And like I felt really good. I'm still taking it with me into this season. I still think like it's made me a lot better of a player and stuff. But like the only reason I did that stuff was to make the world championship team, and to not get that was super tough.
A lot of elite athletes, they learn to kind of narrow their emotional range to perform, right? And that works incredibly well in competition and in the moment. But the question is, what happens outside of competition, right? And you've kind of hit on that, like big picture thinking, like, hey, volleyball is not everything. There's a lot outside of volleyball. So I think that does take a lot of maturity to realize that, right?
For sure.
And then just as we kind of bring this to an end, and we, on the Mental Fitness podcast, we talk a lot about the daily habits and the daily fitness and sort of mental training and things that we do to build resilience, emotional resilience. And it's such a good analogy to compare it to physical fitness. And I think what I've observed is from you is the incredible commitment to physical fitness, the way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you train. Even over the Christmas break, your brother's watching you work out every day and saying, Josh is a beast, and seeing how hard you train. And that's necessary. Anyone that's competing at the highest levels on the national team and in D1 sports knows that. So but then there's also on the mental side, there's also those things that we need to be doing on a regular basis. You kind of already touched on a couple of those, but what are the sort of the daily habits of things mentally and emotionally that are important to you that sort of build your emotional resilience?
Okay, so for me, like I would say, like I wake up and I immediately like I say my prayers and pray for the day and pray for like what I feel like I need help with that day. And that always gives me a little bit of confidence. And then I also read my scriptures, and I like have I have an app that like gives me one every single day. Cause I do like a scripture study every week on my own. And like I have an app that like gives me a few verses, for that day. Yeah, I would say those are the two huge main things that I've been doing. But like in the past, I've listened to podcasts, like just like stoicism podcasts and stuff in the morning. Every single morning I've listened to stuff like that. I just don't have a podcast to listen to right now. So I think I'm gonna start listening to mental fitness every morning. But yeah, those are the main thing is the praying and the scriptures for me. And then like so here and there, like I'll filter in a podcast for like every day for a few weeks until I finish it. And I'm always on the search for another one. So.
Well, it's going to be a great season. We're looking forward to seeing you compete this year in the D1 season, in the national team, and
thank you so much.
And all those things going forward.
Thank you.
We like to end each episode just with a series of rapid fire questions. We're just going to, Luke and I will just throw out a question. You just say the first thing that comes to mind, short answers. So, favorite pump up song before a match?
Last Donut of the Night by Jay Dilla.
I'm going to go listen to it right after this, though.
Yeah, you should. It's very good. Old school.
How about a favorite moment in a match? Is it the first point, last point? What is the favorite moment?
Oh, the last point for sure. Funny or fun fact, like my U19 year when I went to Worlds, I had the game-winning kill to send us to the semifinals to make history.
That was in Argentina?
For the U19 men's team. Like that was in Argentina. That was the highest they'd ever finished. I got the game-winning point. So that was like the best point I've ever had in men's volleyball for sure.
Confidence. Does it come from preparation or instinct?
Preparation.
The late night food after a win.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers.
Yeah.
So good.
And one word teammates would use to describe you.
Loud. Yeah, loud. Funny, I guess, but loud is the main one.
Awesome. Well, Josh, thanks for coming on the Mental Fitness Podcast. We appreciate you. Your story is incredible. The way you've grown, the things you've learned, a lot of lessons to unpack and learn and take from this. So thanks for your time.